17 years ago, I was 25 weeks pregnant with my twin babies, and my water broke. And I found myself sitting in a hospital bed when the doctors looked at me and said, Anamika, it is unlikely that your babies would survive. And even if they do, there are chances they will have multiple medical complications. So you take the call, whether you want to keep the babies or you don't want to keep the babies. In that very moment, the word impossible was not in my dictionary. It was in my chest. It was in my breath. It was in the silence of that room. And then I whispered myself, no, this is possible. My babies will live. They will come home. I am taking them home. So this is what I told myself 17 years ago. And that's when I discovered something. The word impossible hides a secret. And it whispers. The secret is that when you look at it again, it changes. First, it looks like impossible, but when you look at it again, it looks, I am possible. So that's what I chose to look at. Not impossible. I looked at, I am possible. And you know what? Most people are not able to read it like that. Most people just stop at the first glance, impossible. But the ones who do, the ones who read it as impossible, are the ones who create history, are the ones who are able to make big breakthroughs and inspire generations. So that's why I chose impossible. I listened to everybody, but I did not let that sink in here. Throughout the history, impossible has been constantly redefined. But only when we are conscious enough to see it, we are able to see this new definition. So today I'm going to talk about how many people looked at the impossible and they chased the impossible and made it possible. And also, we will look at it through the lens of ordinary people, including myself, that how they discovered that there is a thin line between possible and impossible. It is thinner than we think it is. So let me take you into history, into few moments of history where what once seemed impossible was turned into reality by few extraordinary achievers. One, there was a time when the world believed that no humans can run a mile under 4 minutes. The doctor said the body would collapse. Scientists believe that the heart would not function, the heart would collapse. And so the athletes also did not even try. But then came Roger Bannister. On May 6th, 1954, he ran the mile in 3 minutes, 59 seconds. And here's the most incredible part. After him, many athletes tried and they also broke the barrier. So what changed? The body? Nah. What changed was the belief system from impossible to possible. There was a time when human flying was nothing more than just a dreamy fantasy. People laughed at it. They dismissed it as impossible. But then the Wright brothers dared to think differently, and they built what was impossible. They built the plane, they took the first flight, and what was unthinkable once became the foundation of today's modern travel. And then I'd like to talk about cricket, Indian cricket. For years, cricket fans thought that making 200 runs in one-day cricket match was beyond human endurance. The pitch was too short, the pressure was too high, but then came Sachin Tendulkar. He rewrote what was possible. And then what happened next? Suddenly, the impossible became the new standard, and many cricketers followed. They made double centuries in many more international cricket matches. And then I would like to talk about Wilma Rudolph. Wilma Rudolph was, when she was a child, she was diagnosed with polio. Doctor said that the girl will not be able to walk independently. And forget about walking, she might even not be able to stand independently. So imagine a child being told that she can't stand, she can't walk, she can't run, she can't play, she can't be like a normal child. So what did she do? Did she take that disappointment and let it get heavy on her? Nah. She chased the impossible. She did not let the word impossible define her. And she not only walked, she ran. And she ran and she ran and she ran and she ran into Olympics. And she won 3 gold medals in 1960 Rome Olympics. What was once impossible, she made possible. That's the thread. That's how the thread works in the breakthroughs. Someone decides that they're not going to accept the impossible, someone chases the impossible, and then it becomes possible for everybody else also, because the boundary of possible shifts for everybody else. But what about the impossible that we carry in our daily lives? What about the impossible that do not make headlines? The silence that we carry, the grief that we don't talk about, the pain that we don't want to share with others. Sometimes impossible is not always about big breakthroughs or major wins. Sometimes impossible is also about surviving. Sometimes it is about rebuilding what was once shattered, rebuilding the life when it gets shattered. That is also impossible for a lot of people like us, I believe. And now, that's where my story begins. My impossible was like a normal story that is not reported anywhere in the headlines. Like I was mentioning, 17 years ago when the doctors told me that, Anamika, your babies might not survive. So I was in the bed, in the hospital bed, not for days, for weeks I was in the bed. And I ate on bed, I slept on bed, I bathed on bed, everything was in bed. And you can imagine how my life was back then, everything on bed. But I thought that perhaps whatever they are telling me is not the truth, and my babies are safe and they're gonna be in my hands very soon. That's what I just kept on telling myself. And on the very first day of my 28th week, I went into severe labor. The babies had to be born, and my girls were born. I get goosebumps. One of my girls was born 950 grams. The other one was 1 kg. They were tiny, they were small, vulnerable. They had to be kept in the neonatal unit for almost a month and a half, I believe. But they were beautiful, they were mine. And they came just 30 days before my birthday, and I thought maybe Almighty has given me an advance gift for my birthday. So that is how they came, and today, 17 years later, both my girls are in 12th grade. One is pursuing biology, one is pursuing humanities, one plays chess, the other one is a national level gymnast. And then, my second impossible came just a few months ago, 3.5 months ago. And that was the reason why I took this call, that I need to go and talk about it, because I cannot just keep it. I have to talk about it. I lost my husband. He was my everything. He was my life. My everything was with him, for him, about him. And when he was gone, I thought that I don't know what will I do. My life was absolutely impossible. And from here, I'm going to read the teleprompters more because I just cannot focus. Because he believed in me more than I believed in myself. I thought, how will I breathe? How will I raise my girls? How will I even step up and move forward? How will I conduct my life? It's impossible, Anamika. You cannot do it. But then I remembered the man who was my anchor. The one who had seen in me someone I had not yet become. Because the impossible had swallowed me for so many weeks, I told myself that because someone had believed in you, you got to believe in yourself. Get up, and this is not about building yourself again. It is about living the dream that someone has dreamt for you once. So slowly and gradually, I started to build up myself. I started to build confidence. I started working, not by forgetting him, but by carrying forward the love that we had shared. And in discovering a new purpose for myself. So today I'm standing in front of all of you because I refuse to let the word impossible have the last word on my life. I'm going to move on and I'm going to live. So what truth does this journey of mine reveal? The impossible is often just an opinion, not a fact. That the belief has the darkest power to take us, that the belief has the immense power to take us through our darkest nights. That the resilience is built not in comfort but in crisis. And that sometimes what looks like the end of our lives is sometimes the beginning of a new chapter. I call it my life Anamika 2.0. So my story may be unique, but in truth, we all carry our impossible. It may be starting over, it may be healing from a past trauma, it may be fighting your own belief that you're not enough, it could be anything. So whatever it is, the choice is always the same. Do we stop at the wall? Or do we look again until we see the doorway? So I leave you with this. What's your impossible? Face it, chase it. Find it, face it, chase it. Because the truth is, impossible does not belong to the future. It belonged to the people of the past who did not even try. The ones who dare to keep going are the ones who remind the world that I am possible. So I want you to think, what is your impossible? Is it a dream you have put away because others said it can't be done? Is it a fear that tells you you're not good enough? Is it a loss that you are not able to come over? Whatever your impossible is, remember this: the impossible contains the seed within itself that says, I am possible. The world doesn't change when we settle to the possible. The world changes when the ordinary people like you and me decide that the impossible cannot define us. And we chase the impossible and shift the boundaries, not for ourselves, but for the people around us. So the next time, so I will leave you with this. Next time, life whispers to you, impossible, you must whisper it back. Watch me. Thank you.